John, news came out that Auburn would be kicking off against Penn State on September 17th at 2:30. Many of us assumed this would be a night game. Auburn went up to Happy Valley a year ago. They had a ton of recruits there because the atmosphere was electric. Auburn was looking forward to kind of getting their turn to court some of these guys, maybe have some official visits, a ton of unofficial visits to see what Jordan Hare Stadium had to offer in a non-conference matchup. They don't get that. Does that actually matter as much as recruiting, or is that just something fans like to say?
It's probably a bit of both, Zach. Certainly from a atmospheric standpoint, yeah. I mean, obviously, we all saw what it looked like last year at night. So the chance to reciprocate that is certainly something that, I certainly look forward to. And it's understandable how that's like the ideal setting. An evening game, national spotlight, it gets dark right around halftime, and that second half becomes just the loudest thing you ever heard. That matters in recruiting. Now, will it still be freaking loud? Yeah, of course it will, and it'll still be good. But I think where it hurts you from a recruiting standpoint, beyond the atmosphere itself, is the logistics. The later the game, the more time for kids and their families to get on the road. I mean, 99% of these kids are playing on Friday nights. The games last till 10 or 11 o'clock. You're beat up, you're banged up. You want to eat, you want to get some sleep. So if you got to hit the road before lunchtime the following morning, it's just a little bit harder. And those night games afford you just more time to get there and hit the road, particularly if you think of where Auburn recruits from. If you're recruiting a kid from Louisiana or Miami or, somewhere in Florida, it just takes that much longer. So you would have a little bit more flexibility in getting there ahead of a night game versus a 2:30 kick. But look, for official visitors, it won't really change anything. Those kids are flown in on Auburn's dime. So if you're still building up for a big weekend there, the front end of it can still be accomplished. But yeah, it does feel a little unfortunate for Auburn, just in terms of an ideal home setting to not have that game at night. But it's football, right? You got to adjust and go from there. So I still think it'll be a huge recruiting weekend on the Plains. And again, those official visitors aren't affected, and those are still the most important.
Sure. Right. Yeah. I mean, just this being a year where Auburn doesn't get Georgia or Alabama at home, I think they were kind of looking at Penn State to kind of, have another opportunity to have as many kids as possible on campus. And so now your biggest ones, you got a chance for maybe an LSU home game, maybe a Texas A&M home game. But after that, I mean, as far as just how attractive the opponent is, like Arkansas at night doesn't quite have the same ring as a Penn State or an LSU or a Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And look, it's the SEC West. There's a ton of great teams. I mean, I was just talking to a colleague, and it's like, I don't even know who's gonna. I think I know who's gonna win it, but after that,
it's crazy.
I mean, I'm like, any of these teams could be second or last in the West. It could be that competitive this year. So I do think that will create plenty of great atmospheres across the division. But yeah, when you go outside of it and you want to, it becomes an SEC, a conference thing versus a Big Ten team. You do want as much appeal as humanly possible, especially when your marquee rivals aren't coming to campus. But like I said, it'll still be electric there. We've all been to games there. It is one of the best places in the country for a reason. And I think they'll light it up for Penn State.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Even at 2:30, it'll be fun.